guy that fought on the undercard, Zabit Magomedsharipov. Holy shit is this guy, dude.
And how many times did you rehearse his name?
Many. One of Mark Henry's guys down in New Jersey.
Okay, that's good.
And,
I like Mark Henry.
From Dagestan.
Okay, yeah, they're all
where
good.
there's just something in the water over there.
Yeah.
They create
well, they train
animals.
with bears, right?
But this guy is tall and skinny, and he fought Kyle Bochniak.
Unpredictable style, wild moves, and Dagestani roots. These are just some characteristics of the man who was supposed to become the new star of the UFC featherweight division. In a short period, he delighted us. By an unfortunate accident, he left. And to everyone's regret, he never came back. Welcome back to the Clash of MMA. Another interesting story is in front of us, and today, we will cover the career of the biggest what if in the UFC, and maybe in all of combat sports. Make sure you click that sub button, and then come with us on a trip from Russia to the United States. His name is Zabit Magomedsharipov, and he was born on March 1st, 1991, in Khasavyurt, a city in Dagestan. Like everyone from the famous Dagestan, Zabit started wrestling at 10, but his attention was quickly caught by striking martial arts. Unlike many compatriots, 12-year-old Magomedsharipov dedicated himself to Sanda at the age of 12. Five Directions of the World is a martial arts school from Dagestan that Zabit found his way to and lived there for a decade with other students. His coach, Qasim Mahomev, fascinated by Chinese martial arts, founded the school in 1996. He set himself the task of training boys in martial arts 3 times a day. Qasim led them on the right path, including academic and arts education and religious upbringing. Mahomev trained dangerous and physically fit guys who were also educated warriors. Over 400 students passed through the school, including Zabit Magomedsharipov, who earned his place as one of the most notable students. Young Zabit excelled in the Sanda competitions, representing Russia. He won the Russian championship 4 times. In 2012 in Tallinn, Estonia, he won the gold medal at the European Championship. And the peak of his competition happened when he won the World Cup with his spectacular fighting style. He even tested his weapons against Islam Makhachev in one of the many competitions he participated. He was prone to diseases, and unlike any other Dagestani, he was thin, tall, and not at all athletic in appearance. However, we should not judge a book by its cover, and this did not prevent him from reaching the elite martial arts promotion. The only shame is that he did not reach full glory. The former Sanda fighter decided on professional MMA, and his debut in 2012 ended with a TKO in the first round. Fighting for various organizations, such as the Odessa Golden Cup, Liga Kavkaz, and Pro FC, Zabit made 3 more appearances in his first year of professional competition. In the beginning, he felt victories by submission, decision, and knockout, but also by doctor stoppage. In the professional year of 2012, Zabit stepped into the M1 challenge ring in an amateur match against Rakhman Mahaziev, although he already had 2 professional fights. For the first time, Magomedsharipov felt a bitter taste in his mouth because of the defeat, and Mahaziev managed to defeat him with an armbar in the second round. The reason for this was his weakness, which is cardio. It's important to note that Zabit held up well until the submission. After 4 professional wins and a successful year, Zabit returns to Pro FC against another Russian fighter, Igor Egorov. Already at the beginning of the match, he showed his striking skill, excellent reflexes, takedown defense, and the inability to be hit by clean shots because of his evasive movements. Everything Egorov did, Zabit did better. But as this sport is full of surprises, and the fight can turn in a second, Igor turned the tide in the 3rd round. He managed to take down Zabit, who ended up in an armbar again. Defeat knocked on his door, and again for the same reason. His explosive moves used up his gas tank before the end of the fight, which is why he couldn't continue with his game plan in the 3rd round and was easily taken down and submitted. As there was something good in every bad, the Dagestani ninja learned his lesson and decided that this would be his first and last professional defeat. An ugly start in 2013 did not mean a final defeat, because Zabit won one after another in subsequent performances. He returned to winning ways when he defeated Sergey Sokolov by triangle choke submission and Sarmat Hadov by decision later in the year. Absolute Championship Yerkut was his last destination before coming to the UFC, and the new year meant a fresh start in that promotion. Zabit found himself in the ACB Featherweight Grand Prix tournament, where he made his debut against Arud Zamanov. Arud showed tenacity at the beginning of the match when he tried to take down Zabit several times, but Zabit proved to be the better wrestler. When he felt the sharp blows of Zabit, Zamanov had no choice but to continue wrestling. However, that didn't turn up well for him. After being dominant throughout, Zabit locks in a guillotine in the second round and forces his opponent to submit. The semifinal went the same way, absolute dominance and the finish in the second round, but this time with the technical knockout. Like every opponent before him, Artak Nazarian had no chance, and Zabit was all over him with his striking and wrestling. The referee intervened several times to get Artak back to his feet after Zabit spent time in a dominant position on the ground, and when he threw Artak into a knockdown without wanting to finish him quickly. A few more times, the referee had to lift the helpless Artak to his feet, who, this time, was a fighter with a spent gas tank. Due to frequent interventions, the referee waved it off. Zabit made it to the finals, and Artak Nazarian was TKO'd into retirement. Before the finals, the young Zabit had a task against Muhammad Kokov, where he once again showed his compatriot why he is the main featherweight in Russia. Kokov did his homework and pinned Zabit against the fence at the start, but even though he looked physically stronger, Zabit refused to be taken down and very quickly returned the fight to stand up, where he performed his signature spinning attacks. Muhammad desperately went for the hug, but just like Zamanov before him, he quickly became disappointed. Zabit's reach did its job in the first round, and in the second, an unfortunate incident occurred for his opponent, who had to give Zabit a TKO win due to a hand injury. In the final fight of the tournament, he faced Abdul Rahman Tamirov. At this point, the opponents showed how familiar they are with Zabit's style, as they all tried to overwhelm him with wrestling, but to no avail. The Dagestani Sanda master used this to his advantage. After a neutralized takedown, he packs another guillotine in the first round, squishing the life out of Tamirov to conquer the ACB tournament. The tournament winner finally got a chance for a title shot, and after years of painstaking training, Zabit was crowned the championship belt for the first time. His opponent, Sheikh Mohammed Arakpanov, is another one in the series who saw how difficult Zabit is to be taken down. Zabit's striking prevailed again, and the opponent fell in the first round by knockout. Before finally knocking on the door of the UFC, he defended his title with a knockout and finally against a fighter who is not from Russia. Regardless, Valdine Silva was knocked out in the first round, and Zabit vacated the title to join the world's UFC fighting elite and travel outside of Russia for the first time in his career. At UFC events, Zabit did what he does best. He won the audience with his unusual style and collected victories, performances, and fight of the night bonuses. He shared the cage with dangerous featherweight fighters such as Jeremy Stevens and Calvin Kattar, and his legendary showdown with Kyle Bochniak, which is surely the greatest one in his career. Everything was going great, and the title shot seemed behind the corner. Zabit was scheduled to face Yair Rodriguez, who had to pull out due to injury, but this is where things go downhill. Due to his lack of action, Zabit was dropped from the official UFC rankings in 2021. He was ranked third at the time of removal. According to reports, Zabit had immune system problems that ultimately necessitated potentially disastrous surgery. Rumors about his retirement began to circulate, and later, unfortunately for all of us, they turned out to be true, because in 2022, Muhammad Shapirov extinguished all hope for further competition. Zabit wrote on Instagram, "I know that many of you were waiting for my return. There was not a single day that someone did not ask when my next fight was, but I decided to end my pro sports career. Disruptions of fights, and then health problems. All this did not allow me to perform or fight earlier. I have recovered now, but I don't feel the way I used to." He realized health was the number one priority, and his record of 18 wins and 1 loss remained unfinished, and his supreme potential was unfulfilled. All of us who watched Zabit should be happy that we witnessed his short era, but the fact is that we were left disappointed. Unique in his own way and a completely different model from the Dagestani fighter we are used to, highly trained in all spheres of MMA, he showed how fighting can be an art. His long reach and height were great assets in his division, which added to his unbelievable striking skill. Zabit was hard to hit and even harder to take down. He comfortably operated in both guards, which is uncommon among fighters. Magomedsharipov was creative and unpredictable in attack and defense. His sambo experience completely neutralized the Russian fighter's grappling, as well as his competition on the other side of the world, and he was spectacular both in stand-up and on the ground. His greatness was also shown in his religious and modest character, mentally tough like everyone from his region. He could have been a supreme threat to the UFC featherweight division, and his retirement would have suited us better if he had at least won the belt. But unfortunately, we're left in the dark. Thank you once again for your attention. Make sure to leave a like and comment to support our channel. For those who stayed with us until the end of this adventure, we have left you some wisdom shared by our Dagestani ninja.
Секреты сбежать. Знаю, о чем я. Ты как научился?
Циклина.
Нет. Когда ты поймешь смысл жизни,